and I mean, on the street, you can have a guy that's telling you it's OG Kush, and you know, it's not at all.
Yeah.
There's a million strains out there, so it's like, how the fuck does he know that it's OG Kush? Was he around the guy that grew the shit? You know, it's like, did he watch it come from a facility? Like,
no, probably not.
Right, and you know, if you go to a facility, you know, I would love to see somebody find some OG Kush nowadays. It's like the way strains are made and crossed and, you know, created now. There's nothing that's an original OG Kush anymore. You know, everything is crossed over. Everything is made into a hybrid, and technically everything kind of is a hybrid, unless it's like it's original pheno made from a pollinated plant made into a new seed pod.
And how do you know?
So, you know, in growing, there will be a mother plant. And a mother plant is pretty much like the biggest plant, and you could take cuts and stuff like that. So there's a lot of time people will grow a mother plant, take cuts, have the cuts root, and then from that cut, they'll pollinate it young. So then that pollinated plant will be pollinated with pollen from whatever plant they got that seed from. So then whatever pollen they put on that plant will be the cross seed that plant creates.
Okay.
So it's like, say you have lemon diesel growing, and you take OG Kush and you pollinate lemon diesel, then that seed that comes out of that lemon diesel will be that cross of both of those, because it pretty much just had sex. You know, so it's creating that baby seed.
How do you know what you're getting is like purely that strain, though? Like
it all comes down to genetics. So it's like, if you go to a seed bank, that's your best bet, because a lot of those...
That's like tracked,
right,
and they know
right,
where it's coming from.
And a plant's usually going to produce like 100 to 200 seeds, and knowing they're feminized is a really weird process. There's like air chambers and shit like that blow different, you know, it could be correct, but it's possible that you can also have a bunk seed in your feminized seed pack. You know what I mean? So a female seed is what's going to give you buds. A male seed is going to grow something that will create more seeds. So it's like...
And hemp.
Yeah, and hemp, you know, and good stalks and shit like that.
Hell yeah.
So,
dude, it's amazing what the plant can do, honestly. Like, that's the part that I guess just blows my mind, and it's a shame that it's still illegal in so many places, because it's more than just this part, which we've been talking about, and that in and of itself is its own like benefits, and there's also some cautions. But then with like hemp and that's ability to replace a lot of things like plastics, for example.
Concrete.
Yeah, concrete. And then the single-use plastics, we can have them biodegradable by making them hemp plastic.
Right.
And it's just as effective, and it'll be fine.
Right.
And then it'll also biodegrade and not add to the collective garbage in the ocean that we have.
But again, you know, you got that propaganda bullshit, you know. All those people that consider hemp, even in the cannabis sense, it's like, oh man, a bunch of hippies. It's like, okay, all right, whatever. Well,
but how about just not arresting people and ruining lives?
Right. I mean, hemp is a whole nother story. You know, it's like, I don't understand why it's such a viable source, and it's so easy to grow. It's a weed, so that thing you can pretty much have grow anywhere. It doesn't need the best lighting. It doesn't need the best nutrients and shit like that. Like, you can grow hemp with water and soil and just, you know, and you could have stalks, you know, but growing the actual like CBD hemp, flowers and stuff like that is kind of the same as growing cannabis.
Okay, so if you're trying to grow that, then you have to put in just as much work in terms of the lighting, the nutrients, the cycles.
Right.
Okay.
It's not going to be as like precious looking, just because it doesn't it creates kind of the same structure and kind of the same body.
We get it. It's a man. It doesn't compare to a woman.
No. The hemp flowers are still female flowers.
Yeah.
But when it produces seeds, it's a for sure male. More hemp. You know what I mean? So like the industrial hemp is what it would be kind of considered.
Industrial hemp.
Yeah, because those are like 6 feet tall, you know. And everything is kind of like brother and sister. It's not exactly the same. Like, cannabis has its own cannabis, and then there's cannabis hemp, and then there's pretty much like CBD cannabis, but it's not exactly like THC.
Damn, dude, I feel like I didn't even know all this stuff. Especially because Like I'm a pretty big stoner, like in general. Like I know I've smoked a lot of weed, but I feel like I didn't know that much about the creation process. I just knew I enjoyed it, and I learned ways for me to consume it.
Right, and that's why I wanted to figure that out. I wanted to be the above, I wanted to go above and beyond. Like it satisfied my brain learning about those things and seeing the different progress of the plant and stuff like that. So, I think that's why it made me crave the industry more. Once it came to Illinois, I was like, I'm gonna get in that shit either way.